Thank you for being here with us today. And could you give us a brief description of the film?
Thank you for this interview. Yalla Parkour became more of a personal story that's interwoven with the story of a parkour athlete who was living in Gaza and then fled to Sweden. There are many themes that the film carries. The main theme is belonging, and there are also layers that speak about identity, home. What does it mean to be a Palestinian? What does it mean to carry this identity with you and to give it to generations to come? So this is briefly what Yalla Parkour is.
You already mentioned it, but could you explore more what exactly inspired you to tell this story? And a little bit obvious question, but why you think the right moment to tell the story is now?
Actually, these are very important questions. The motivation came in 2014. I had my second child. She's a girl. Obviously, she's 10 years now. But back then, I just got her to this world. And there was a huge offensive happening in Gaza. It was a 50-day war. And I felt miserable seeing my kid come to such a world. And in the midst of this, I was following the news and I saw a parkour team jumping. One of the YouTubes that popped into my feed was parkour teams who were jumping before bombings that were happening in the background. And one of the parkour members was smiling widely at me as I was looking at my screen. And his smile actually reminded me of my own mother's smile. And I thought maybe I need to do a connection. And that was the main motivation, just to understand that place, that space that really carries humor and happiness despite the adversities that they go through.
Could you speak more about this interconnection between political events and human stories and how one shapes the narrative of another?
I believe human stories come first because it's more of human. A film for me, the role of film is to shed light on human beings, especially documentaries, how human beings react to what surrounds them. That's especially if we're doing a social documentary that tackles social issues, and politics is a layer in that too. So it's more of a human interaction with the surroundings and how they live what they live. So I'm not sure if this answers your question, but it's more of this dynamics.
Yeah. So human stories, they come first, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, feels right. How did you approach the visual side? Like, how did you develop the way it look and feel?
The visual side was a journey by itself because at the beginning, maybe if you watch the film, you will understand that I have no access to Gaza. And I taught at the university for a while, and what I used to tell my students is access is key. What you need to gain before anything when you do a documentary is gain access. In my situation, because I wanted to speak about this place that I feel it's part of my identity, like Palestine, Gaza is part of Palestine, and I have no access to it, I thought I wanted to do a film about that. The visual side of it started by Ahmed giving me what they had in terms of filming. They always filmed themselves because they wanted to use this method as a passport to the outside world. And he shared with me everything they filmed. And it was more of a rabbit hole. Me and the editor, we're looking at it, and everything is exciting and dynamic. But then that was not exactly what I was looking for. I asked Ahmed, I want to understand more how you live. Then we hired a team, a professional team. They helped us take a portrait of Gaza, like a portrait of that city. And whenever something didn't speak to the visual style we're looking for, we would ask them to repeat. They were so patient. Brahim Al-Atla is the main cinematographer, and he was so patient with that. So I wanted to do more of a lyrical, give this a city symphony style at some point, and I was looking for that lyrical tone when portraying the visuals of the city. So,
what does it mean for you to present the film here at the Red Sea Film Festival?
It means a lot. The festival has a big platform for diverse audience. I was so impressed to see a big portion of this audience, locals, Saudis coming to watch the film. as well as people who are Palestinian, people who are guests, international guests. So this diversity really offered something huge to the film.
What do you hope the audiences will take away from watching it? What is the main message?
It's a global thing. It's not only, and this festival offers that. Fortunately, the diversity, we have a lot of foreign audiences who are here. I know us Arabs, we are familiar with these layers of humanity and culture that Gaza carries. I wanted them to understand what this place means. How did it look like? How did people live through what they lived before the current war? And after too. I mean, we speak about the current war, but we have finished filming in Gaza before everything happened. But what I was hoping is through these visual images you see of Gaza before the current time, I'm hoping this sticks with them, that these people lived and had a life, and they are human beings.
Are there any coming projects for you? Something you're working on now?
Yes, there are multiple projects. I'm doing two feature-length documentaries, writing for them. One is more advanced in terms of development and filming, which is the film about my dad. I mentioned my dad a little bit in Yalla Parkour. I say that he's losing his memory, but what sticks with him is his life in Nablus. So my upcoming documentary is mainly about the relationship between my dad, his current situation, and Nablus's current situation. Another upcoming documentary I'm working on is about a very, very interesting architect. His name is Rasim Badr. He's a well-known architect. He cares about grassroots architecture. He cares about organic architecture, and he's done a lot of projects here in Saudi Arabia.
How do you approach new ideas and choose something you want to work on next?
I wouldn't say I approach them. They're more stuff that I think about a lot. So in the case of my dad, it's something that started disturbing me somehow, that I personally lost connection by choice to Nablus, and my dad is losing connection to Nablus by force, you know. So that was something that disturbed me a lot, and I thought maybe I shouldn't put this idea on the side. I should work on it, and that's how it started. With the architect Rasim Badr, we did a short video, him and I, 20 years ago. And then I met him recently, and we thought maybe it's a good idea to elaborate more on his life and what does it mean, what he's doing. So something that comes organically.
Okay. I see. Because sometimes it's difficult to switch from one idea to another one, to let it go.
The letting go is very difficult. Like with this documentary, I think you asked this question and I didn't answer it. We had, it went for a long time, but the current events, we gave a sense of urgency and we said, no, we need to finish. We need to give the people a portrait of Gaza before they forget about it. It's the letting go of what you're working on is key, because once it's done, it gives you space to think of what's
New
gonna come.
beginnings.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your questions.